Our movie begins in India with Sia, who was enjoying the rain very much. When the rain stopped, she said to it, "Did you stop for me, rain?" Ronnie sees her and is surprised that she's talking to the rain. He laughs at her. When she turned around, she saw Ronnie looking at her and said, "Done staring?" Ronnie said to her, "No, I was waiting for you to finish so I could talk to the rain too." He laughs and makes fun of her, telling her, "You're crazy." She tells him, "Okay, get out of here." Just before he walks away, the driver brakes suddenly, and Ronnie falls on her. She accidentally hugs him. Ronnie forgets himself, but she pushes his hand away and leaves. She goes to sit with her mother. Later, Ronnie gets off at the station and sees Sia on the train. When she notices him, he blows her a kiss in the air. She turns her face and smiles, then gets off the train and says to him, "You think I'll love you or something?" He says, "Yes, you will love me. We're just at the beginning." Sia actually falls in love with him, leaves him, and walks away. There was a guy at the station named Raghav who saw Sia and was impressed with her. Raghav happens to be a gang leader. Ronnie decides to go back to the train for Sia, and the train starts moving, but Sia tells him, "My dad looks like he got off the train and hasn't come back yet." So Ronnie gets off quickly to look for him, but it turns out Sia's dad is on the train. She calls to Ronnie quickly and says, "My dad is on the train. Come on, get on quickly." Ronnie runs as fast as he can, but he stumbles and falls to the ground, and unfortunately, he doesn't make it. They both feel sad because they won't see each other again. After that, Raghav goes to the Shaolin school for martial arts training and meets his father, who is the master of the entire school. The next day, Ronnie arrives at the same school, which teaches martial arts. He enters the school and finds the students practicing yoga with the master. Ronnie interrupts them and says to the master, "I have a letter for you from my father." We learn that Ronnie's father and the master were friends. The letter says, "If you are reading this letter, then I am dead now." Ronnie's father was entrusting Ronnie to the master because Ronnie is a bit reckless and only cares about fighting. He says, "After I die, I will be very worried about him, so try to take care of Ronnie and make him a human being." After the master reads the letter, he gets to know Ronnie and asks him his age. Ronnie says, 23. The master says, "I'm 68. Ronnie makes fun of him, so the master says, "You seem like a troublemaker." Ronnie says, "Yes, anyone who crosses my path, I'll break his bones." The master then grabs Ronnie and flips him to the ground, embarrassing him in front of the students. But Ronnie gets up and says, "I don't lay my hands on old people." The master says, "Well, try me." Just as Ronnie is about to say, "Don't test me," the master grabs him by the arm again and flips him to the ground, saying, "Go to your room, and you'll sleep after I sleep and wake up after I wake up." Ronnie goes to his room and meets Raman, who shows him the room and the place, and introduces him to a little boy named Cebu. Ronnie finds that the room is empty and has no comfort of any kind. The bed is a piece of cloth to be laid on the floor, and there's no AC or fridge. Ronnie asks Raman, "Is there no food?" Raman says, "You're the one who will make food for the students because all the students are in a boat race." We see the boat race, and Raghav is participating in it. Sia is among the audience and is cheering. When Raghav sees that she is there, he gets very encouraged and excited, and focuses on the race to get her attention. Raghav wins the race and refuses to go and receive the trophy. He was looking for Sia, but Sia has already left and gone to the city. At that moment, Ronnie was carrying the food he was going to make for the students and he passed by her, but they didn't see each other. It starts to rain, and Sia is very happy. Ronnie sees her then and goes to her. She says to him, "You again? Do you know that I was very upset because I made you get off and the train left you?" Ronnie said, "I meant to leave the train, by the way, because what's the point of riding a train that has no beautiful girl?" Sia laughs and leaves him and walks away. He goes after her and says, "You have nothing to do but get soaked in the rain?" And she said to him, "And you have nothing to do but follow me?" Ronnie said, "It always rains when we meet. It seems like it's meant for us to see each other." Then he points to a lighthouse and says, "Come on, let's go there." But the rain stops. He says to her, "If we are meant to see each other again, we will see each other when it rains." Sia leaves him and walks away. Later, Ronnie enters the school and sees Raghav training with the students. Ronnie is surprised by Raghav's strength and fighting skills. Raghav keeps thinking about Sia. A student accidentally wounds Raghav in the chest, so Raghav gets angry and hits him very hard. Just before he was about to finish him off, the master intervenes and says, "Everyone go to sleep." But Ronnie doesn't sleep and goes out to stay up and drink with Raman. Coincidentally, Sia's father sits with them and gets drunk. The next morning, the master has his assistant wake Ronnie up early so Ronnie can make them food, clean the place, and ring the bell. Ronnie continues this routine until he gets fed up and tired. One day, it rains, and Sia and Ronnie are very happy. Sia was leaving the house, but suddenly she finds Raghav in front of her. Raghav had come to meet Sia's father and says to him, I want to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage. Sia's father says to him, but your father or mother should have come with you on a day like this. He says to him, my daughter Sia has had many suitors since she was young, but I refuse because I want her to focus on acting. So Raghav takes out a bag full of money. When her father sees the money, he is impressed and gets up, saying to Raghav, go ahead and prepare the wedding invitations. Consider yourself married to my daughter already. Raghav is very happy and leaves. As for Sia, she goes to the lighthouse that Ronnie told her about, and it starts to rain. Ronnie is there too, but they can't see each other. Sia talks to the clouds and says, rain over his house too, so he knows and comes here. Ronnie hears her and comes to her and says, you're totally crazy. You're even talking to the clouds. They joke and laugh together, and then she gives him a ring and says, never take it off. The two are madly in love with each other. Ronnie then goes to get drunk and returns to school, swaying. The master sees him and says, this isn't a hotel for you to come back to whenever you want. Ronnie says, I didn't choose to come here. My father chose for me to come here so you could train me, even though since I came, I haven't been training at all. I think Chinese karate is better than your Shaolin. He was about to leave, but the master stops him and says, the person who invented Shaolin was an Indian who traveled to China and taught the Chinese 80 martial arts styles, and at that time, the Chinese didn't know anything about them. He gets close to him and hits him in the stomach, making him throw up everything he drank. When he found out he was drunk, he took him in front of the mirror and said, the gazelle wakes up early in the morning to run because it's afraid someone will kill it, and the lion wakes up early and says, if I don't run, I won't catch any food and will die of hunger. You too must run and chase your life and your goal, or you will die from the inside, and you must continue your training. So Ronnie says to him, what training? Since I came, all I've been doing is cooking and cleaning, as if I'm the maid. The master was about to attack him, but Ronnie found himself fast and blocked his strikes. Ronnie is surprised and understands that he learned his speed from the things he was doing around the place. The master says to him, you've been training since your very first day. Ronnie was about to bend down and kiss his feet. From then on, Ronnie begins his training seriously and fights all the students. Raghav sees him and feels jealous because the master was paying too much attention to him. Raghav goes and proudly greets him, saying, good job, you're a good boy. The master hugs Ronnie because Ronnie was up to the responsibility. One day, Ronnie and Sia were together. Sia saw her father from a distance, and Ronnie asked her, is that your father? She said, yes. So Ronnie said to her, then get in this rickshaw and go. Ronnie did this because he didn't want her father to know that he loves her. Her father came to him and said, you're leaving your girlfriend like that? Why didn't you introduce her to me? Come on, let's go have a drink. Ronnie said, I'm sorry, but I stopped drinking. Her father was then shocked when he saw Sia's ring on Ronnie's hand. He understands that Ronnie's girlfriend is his daughter. He tries to take the ring from him, but Ronnie refuses. Her father gets upset and goes to tell Raghav everything. Raghav says, I will kill that boy Ronnie if I have to. But the master hears him say that and says, love has never been by force. You can kill, but you won't find love, and I won't let you kill anyone as long as I'm alive. Raghav gets angry at his words and decides to put poison in his father's food and kills him in cold blood. Then he orders his men to bring Ronnie. His men say to Ronnie, come with us, Raghav wants you. Ronnie says, wait, let me get a treat for Cebu. So Raghav's men kidnap Cebu because they know Ronnie loves him. Ronnie goes crazy and runs after them until he catches up to them. He asks them to give him the boy, but they keep tossing the boy back and forth, and Ronnie is like a confused dog. Here, Ronnie gets angry and loses his temper. Two men hold him, but Ronnie beats them left and right. The gang runs away and throws Cebu from a high place, but Ronnie catches him. The gang members come down to him, and Ronnie bares his teeth and beats them all up. No one could stop him. He grabs their leader and beats him up, and was about to kill him, but Cebu stops him. Raghav then arrives and starts beating Ronnie. Raghav was much stronger than him. Ronnie tries to hit him but couldn't, and Raghav blocks all his strikes. Raghav was about to kill him, but Ronnie slips away. Raghav's men run toward Ronnie, but Ronnie takes a gas hose, sprays them, grabs the lighter, and asks Raghav, what happened for all this? Raghav says, you're the one to blame, because you entered Sia's life. I love Sia, and I'm going to marry her. Ronnie says, impossible, Sia loves me. Raghav says, women love power, and you are weak. Ronnie sprays gasoline on himself and says, I'm ready to die for her. If you are too, come on. Raghav says, I'm going to finish you and kill you right now. Ronnie says, why are you in such a hurry to kill me? Our fight is just beginning. After that, they all go to attend the master's funeral. Raghav had decided to leave Ronnie alive so he wouldn't be a hero in Sia's eyes, and he had a specific plan to get rid of him. Ronnie sits next to the master's grave and cries, saying, you're the one who made me a human being, so I will never forget you and will continue my training in fighting for you. Then the police arrive and arrest Ronnie because he destroyed people's shops when he was fighting in the street and scared people. Of course, the one who made the police arrest Ronnie was Raghav, because Raghav used to bribe all the officers in the city. Ronnie understands that Raghav is the reason and Sia's father is in agreement with him, but then Ronnie gets out of prison on bail, and the one who paid the bail was Sia's father. Ronnie then goes to tell Sia everything and says, "Your father agreed with Raghav to imprison me and get rid of me and make me stay away from you." But Sia says, "Impossible. Then why did my father pay the bail and get you out?" He says, "So when I come and tell you what happened, you won't believe me." And indeed, Sia doesn't believe Ronnie. Ronnie says to her, "I've decided to travel and will continue my training in fighting outside the city. The train will leave at 6 o'clock. If you come to say goodbye, I'll know you love me as much as I love you." Ronnie leaves her and walks away. Sia goes to her mother and cries and tells her what Ronnie said, and at that moment, her father was standing and eavesdropping on them. He ripped his clothes, hit his head on the wall, and came in, bleeding, and says to Sia, "Ronnie is the one who did this to me when I told him, 'Let's resolve things between you and Sia.' He hit me and insulted me and returned this ring to you." Sia is shocked and can't believe it. At the same time, Ronnie was at the train station with Cebu and was waiting for Sia, but she didn't show up. Her father's plan had succeeded. He had given her a fake ring, not Ronnie's ring. Sia had also decided not to marry Raghav and decided to go into acting. Raghav arrives at the filming location and meets Sia's father and slaps him because Sia's father hasn't convinced her to marry him yet. At that moment, Sia appears and Raghav kidnaps her and takes her to Thailand. The film's producer and Sia's father then go to the police station, but the officer says to them, "Who kidnapped her? Raghav the mafia boss? No, you should go file a report with the Minister of the Interior, not me." So the two of them go to a member of parliament, but the member of parliament says, "No, I'm no match for Raghav, you too." At that time, Raghav kept her locked in a house under heavy guard, and she wasn't allowed to leave. After that, Sia's father and the producer went to a senior official in India and asked him for help, but when the official found out that Raghav had kidnapped Sia and taken her to Thailand, he said, "We can't intervene and do anything in Thailand. We will try to do what we can, but the matter will take time." The producer leaves, very upset because the filming of the movie is delayed because of Sia, and the director is losing a lot of money. He loses hope that anything can happen, but Sia's father says to him, "There is only one person who can help us, and that person is Ronnie. Ronnie's level in martial arts has improved a lot." At that moment, he gets a call from the hospital where Cebu was being treated. Cebu needed an operation to be able to speak again, and the doctor says to him, "We can do the operation, and it will be successful, but you must get the money for the operation so the doctors can start it." Ronnie starts thinking about where he will get the money. After that, the producer and Sia's father arrive at Ronnie's place. The producer goes to talk to Ronnie, and Sia's father was hiding. The producer says to him, "My name is Judy, a film producer." Judy starts telling Ronnie about his problem with the movie he's filming. Ronnie was sitting and not paying attention to him, thinking about Cebu who needs an operation. Judy says, "The heroine of my last movie was kidnapped. If you can bring her back to me, I will give you the money you want." At that moment, Ronnie looks at him and is shocked when Judy shows him a picture of Sia. He leaves him and walks away, saying, "I have nothing to do with it." Sia's father says to Judy, "Don't worry, Ronnie still loves her, and he will definitely want to save her, otherwise he wouldn't be so worried." Ronnie then begins to remember his memories with Sia. Judy comes to him and says, "So, did you change your mind?" Ronnie says, "I will save her, but only because I need the money." Ronnie then goes to gather information about Raghav's guards. Ronnie then travels and goes to Thailand, while Raghav enters Sia's room and finds her angry and breaking everything. Raghav was trying to calm her down and says to her, "Don't be afraid of me. You will start a new life with me when we get married." Sia says, "Get married? Only in your dreams. I will kill you if I get the chance." Raghav says, "You are here in my city, and don't think that anyone will come and save you." Raghav didn't know that Ronnie had just arrived in Thailand. He arrives at a street fighting ring and challenges the best fighter in the place. The fight begins, and everyone was betting and putting money on Ronnie to lose, but Ronnie finishes off his opponent with one move, and everyone is shocked. Ronnie's goal was to get to a person named Kim. Kim is the owner of the fighting ring and is one of Raghav's guards. Because Ronnie was the one who won, Kim lost a lot of betting money, and indeed, Ronnie's plan succeeds. Kim goes to the house where Ronnie is staying, and he has a lot of men with him. Ronnie runs from them in the street and then starts fighting them and finishes them off one after another with great skill. After that, Kim raises his gun at him, but Ronnie snatches it from him and points it at him, saying, "Where is Biju?" Kim is afraid of him, so he tells him his location location. Biju is one of Raghav's men, and Ronnie goes to his house, hits him, and points the weapon at his wife and warns him, "Tell me where Sia is, or you will be saying goodbye to your wife." Biju says, "Don't. You're no match for Raghav, and no one can get to Raghav unless Raghav wants them to." Ronnie pressures him, so Biju tells him the location where Sia is being held. But he says, "This building has security and armed guards, and if you get past them, on every floor there are armed men, professional fighters, trained at the highest level, and world champions in karate and kung fu. And if you get past all of them, you will meet Yong. Yong is not a human being. He's a Chinese killing machine, and on the top floor, Sia will be there." At the same time, Raghav enters Sia's room and was waking her up and putting a necklace on her, but when she woke up and found him close to her, she hit him. So Raghav's guards come in and hit Sia on the head and knock her unconscious. Raghav calls Biju and says, "Sia went to the hospital." Ronnie asks Biju, "Where is this hospital?" But Biju says, "I can't tell you." So Ronnie kills Biju's wife and also finds out the location of the hospital from Kim, because he had kidnapped him and put him in the trunk of the car. Ronnie disguises himself and pretends to be a doctor, and Sia is surprised when she sees him. Ronnie was taking her and leaving, but at that moment, Kim, who was locked in the car trunk, called his brother Yon and says to him, "An Indian guy kidnapped me and went into the hospital." Yon says, "Who is this Indian boy who did that?" At that moment, Raghav hears him and knows it's Ronnie, so he and his men run to catch him. They do catch up with him and raise their guns at him, but Ronnie raises a scalpel to Sia and says to Raghav, "If you or the sheep with you move, I will kill her," and he makes them put their weapons down. Ronnie escapes from the place, and they get into a taxi quickly and leave. After that, Ronnie takes Sia, and they get on a boat, and they were going to an island. The whole way, they weren't looking at each other, and they were remembering old times. They arrive at the island, and Sia's family was supposed to come and pick her up from there. Ronnie says to her, "I'm sorry that I showed my face to you a second time," and she says, "I didn't ask you to come." Ronnie says, "I didn't come for you. I came to save you for money." Sia gets upset from these words and says, "I don't want you anymore, and by the way, I could have escaped on my own." Ronnie was leaving her and walking away, but it starts to rain, so he takes off his shirt and puts it on her shoulder. At that moment, Sia is surprised when she sees the ring is still on Ronnie's hand, and she starts telling him everything that happened. He also tells her everything. When they know the truth, they fall in love with each other again and start dancing and singing, but Raghav and his men arrive. They hit him on the head, take Sia from him, and beat him up. Yom gets out of the car to get revenge for his brother, and Biju, whose wife Ronnie killed, also arrives. Raghav says to Ronnie, "You wrote your own death certificate with your hand," and he orders Biju and Yon to go in and break his bones. The two of them beat him up, and Biju then takes out his gun and kills Ronnie, getting revenge for his wife. Sia collapses and sees a tape of their memories in front of her eyes. Ronnie's body falls into the water, and Raghav takes Sia and leaves. Raghav says to her, "I want to start a new life with you and marry you, and if you don't agree, I'll make you follow your beloved." But at that moment, it rains, and Sia feels that Ronnie is still alive. And indeed, Ronnie isn't dead. He attacks the guards at the entrance and finishes them off and goes up to the next floor and breaks the bones of the men who stand in his way. He goes after the karate and kung fu guys and doesn't leave any one of them alive. Ronnie continues like a lion and finishes off everyone who comes in his way. Raghav sees him on the cameras and can't believe his eyes. Raghav understands that Biju didn't kill Ronnie and left him alive, so Biju says, "I didn't want to kill him because Ronnie was right, and he could have killed my wife, but he didn't." Raghav laughs and kills Biju. After Ronnie finishes off Raghav's men, the only one left is the killing machine Yon. The two of them enter into a fierce fight. Yon was indeed a strong fighter and was able to land powerful blows on Ronnie. He grabs him and says, "There's a big difference between Chinese fighting and your lame Indian fighting." He hits him in his face and stomach, but Ronnie gathers his strength and shows him the Indian fighting style he learned from the master and breaks his bones and says, "Sorry, Chinese products don't last long." After that, he finishes him off and kills him. Sia has escaped and hugs Ronnie and says, "Let's go." But Ronnie says, "We can't. One of us will get out of here alive, either me or him." The two of them go to Raghav. Raghav says, "No one becomes a hero after only 4 months of training." So Ronnie says, "There's a big difference between a donkey and a horse." Raghav pounces on Ronnie, and Sia was attacking him, but he hits her too. A fierce confrontation begins between Ronnie and Raghav. Raghav was superior to Ronnie in fighting, and Ronnie's chances were weak against him. Raghav says, "What, are you tired already? I killed my father to marry Sia, so are you going to stop me?" When Ronnie finds out that Raghav killed the master, he gets very angry and says, "My master is still alive, and the training I learned from him runs in my veins. Yes, you are of his blood, but his strength and skill are in my blood." Ronnie starts doing the master's moves as if he's still alive dive and attacks Raghav and breaks the bones in his neck, and then breaks his ribcage and spine, and then finishes him off completely and breaks his skull. After that, the two of them return to the master's school, and Ronnie makes a statue for the master. He decides to take over the training of the students after him. And here we have reached the end of the first part, and wait for us in the summary of the second part. To those who reached the end of the episode, I want you to tell us your opinion on the movie in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Bye.